Good morning, students. Today we will discuss about class 9 science chapter 4, that is structure of the atom. We have already discussed about this chapter in our previous classes, about that Thomson's model of the atom, Rutherford's model of the atom. That Thomson suggested that, or he proposed that the atom is electrically charged sphere and some negative charges are embedded inside the atom. The magnitude of this positive charge and negative charge are equal. That's why the atom is electrically neutral. Next, Rutherford's model of atom. Rutherford's done the alpha particle scattering experiment, in which he proposed, he concluded from this experiment that most of the space inside the atom is empty, because he observed and most of the alpha particles pass through the gold foil without getting any deflected. Next, he told also there are some positive charges of the atom that occupy very little space inside the atom, and he named that space as the nucleus. A total mass of the atom is concentrated inside the nucleus according to this Rutherford's model, or according to his proposal. And he also proposed the arrangement of electrons, that is the nuclear model of the atom, that positively charged center, what he told as a nucleus. Nearly all masses of the atom is concentrated in that nucleus, and the electrons, they revolve around the nucleus in well-defined orbits. That means cell. And the size of nucleus is very small as compared to the size of atom. After that, some drawbacks happen here. Like when electrons revolve around the nucleus, then the electrons will be in accelerated motion. That's why the energy will be radiated, and finally, when the electron lost the total energy in it, then it will fall into the nucleus, but generally it doesn't happen. To overcome this drawback, Bohr rest against this Rutherford model of the atom and put forward some postulates that according to this Bohr, certain special orbits, that is called the discrete orbits, are there, in which when the electrons revolve along these orbits, then they do not radiate energy. That's why they can move continuously. And he named those orbits as KLMN. According to this cells KLMN, the electrons are distributed according to the formula 2n square. The electrons are accumulated in these cells, and when we want to find the electronic configuration for any atom, then we have to follow this 2n square. From this arrangement, we can find the valency of the atom also. Like when we want to find the valency of oxygen, here the oxygen has, here we will discuss about valency. Oxygen has atomic number 8. Since atomic number 8 is there, then number of proton is 8 and number of electron also 8. Now these 8 electrons will be distributed in cells, that is K, L, M, N. These are the cells. When the electrons are distributed, when the electrons are accommodated in the cells, first we have to complete the K cell. Next we will go to L cell. After completion of L, we have to go to N cell. But one thing is here, this K cell can accommodate only 2 electrons. The remaining electrons will go to the next energy level. First, since 8 electrons are there, we have to put 2 electrons in K cell. It remains 6 electrons. We can put here 6 electrons because we have to arrange 8 electrons in each of these cells after completion of K cell. Here we can accommodate up to 8 electrons. Next it will come to M cell. So here in case of oxygen, the electrons are accommodated as 2 and 6. Here the valency will be 2. How it is 2? How can we find the valency? Here we get the valency 2. So what is this valency? The electrons present in the outermost shell of an atom are known as valence electron. Here the number of valence electrons is 6. The number of electrons or the electrons which are present in the outermost shell of an atom is said to be its valence electron. From Bohr-Curie scheme, we also know that the outermost shell of an atom can accommodate a maximum of 8 electrons. It was observed that the atoms of elements having a completely filled outermost shell show little chemical activity, like in case of neon. This one is for oxygen. If we consider neon, it's at atomic number 10, that becomes 2 and 8. Here the valence electrons are 8. 8 valence electrons are there. The outermost shell is completed here. In such type of elements, when the outermost shells are completed, they will show very less chemical activity. So generally we do not find any such type of compound that constituted with neon, because it is non-reactive, generally non-reactive. They have very less chemical activity. In other words, their combining capacity of valency is 0. When we want to find the valency of here, the valency will be 0. But here valency is 0. Since its valency is 0, that means it can't able to make bonds with other atoms, or it can't able to combine with other elements. Of this inert element, the helium atom has 2 electrons in its outermost shell. So it will also show inertness, because the fast shell K shell can accommodate 2 electrons. In case of helium, the present 2 electrons. So the only K shell is fulfilled, that is the fast shell is completely filled. So it also an inert element. The combining capacity of atom of other element, that is their tendency to react and form with atoms of same or different elements, with to complete or to fulfill its outermost shell. An outermost shell which had 8 electrons was said to possess an octet form. Like in case of neon, when the outermost shell is completed by 8 electrons, that type of form is called octet form. So every elements try to get this type of octet form by sharing their electrons or by losing or gaining the electrons. Some elements like non-metals and non-metals. Non-metals cannot lose the electron. If 2 atoms are there of non-metals, like hydrogen and chlorine, both are non-metals. Hydrogen and chlorine both are non-metals. This hydrogen can neither gain electrons to chlorine, or chlorine can neither gain electrons to hydrogen. In that case, both the atoms will share their electrons and form their nearest inert element configuration. Atoms should thus react so as to achieve an octet in sharing, gaining or losing. the number of electrons gained, lost or shared as to make the octet of electrons in the outermost cell gives us directly the combining capacity of the atom. Like when we consider about sodium, that is 281. If this one electron is lost by the sodium, that means it can lose one electron. So its combining capacity is 1. So its valency becomes 1. In case of aluminium, the configuration is 283. Here, the aluminium will try to lose with 3 electrons. So its combining capacity is 3. So valency will be, when we consider about sulfur, atomic number 16, that's 2, 8 and 6. It will try to get 2 more electrons. It will try to get 2 more electrons. So valency will be 2. These are the combining capacity. It can lose 1 electron. The combining capacity is 1, so valency is 1. It tries to lose 3 electrons. So it will try to lose these 3 electrons. So combining capacity is 3. That's why the valency is 3. In case of sulfur, 6 valence electrons are there. So it will try to get 2 more electrons to octet, to show the octet path. So combining capacity is 2. So valency is 2. In this way, we can find the balancing. If the number of electrons in the outermost cell of an atom is close to its full capacity, then valence is determined a different way. Like the fluorine atom has 7 electrons in the outermost cell, and its valency could be 7. But it is easier for the fluorine to gain 1 electron instead of losing these 7 electrons. When the fluorine 2, 7, it has atom number 9, 2, 7. That means since the number of valence electron is 7, so it would have 7 valence, the valency will be 7, but it is easier for the fluorine to gain 1 more electrons instead of losing 7 electrons. Hence, the combining capacity of fluorine is 1. That is, the valency of the fluorine is 1, by which it can show the octet path by gaining 1 more electrons. It will be 2, 8, and so the configuration of the nearest inert element, that is neon 2, 8. Neon is the nearest inert element for this fluorine. It will show the configuration 2, 8, that is the configuration of neon. Next, we will discuss about the atomic number. The protons which are present in the nucleus of an atom, is the number of protons becomes equal to the atomic number of the given element. And this atomic number is denoted by letter Z. Z denotes the atomic number of an element. Elements are defined by the number of protons they possess. According to the number of protons, the elements will be represented. Like if 6 protons are there in the atom, then atomic number 6, and atomic number 6 means it is carbon. If 20 protons are there, when number of proton is 6, it is carbon. If number of proton is 20, it is calcium. identify the elements here. Next, the atomic number depends upon the number of protons in the atom, but number of proton and number of electrons both are equal in any neutral atom. Then also we can't depend this number of electrons to find the atomic number. Even if number of proton, number of electrons are equal in the atom, then also for this atomic number we depend upon the number of proton there, because electrons can transfer from one atom to another atom. So the number of electrons may be differ in different conditions, but number of proton remains same in the atom. That's why for atomic number we have to observe the number of protons there. Next, we come to this mass number. After studying the properties of the subatomic particles of an atom, we can conclude that mass of an atom is practically due to the protons and neutrons alone. These are present in the nucleus of the atom. Hence, proton and neutrons are also called nucleons. Nucleus, that is proton and neutron, which are present inside the atom. The mass of an atom resides in the nucleus. Total mass of the atom is concentrated in the nucleus. Like mass of the carbon is 12 unit for carbon. Carbon has atomic number 6. That means number of proton is 6, and the number of neutron also present 6. Number of proton 6, number of neutron 6. One proton has unit its mass 1 unit, and 1 neutron is also considered as the mass 1 unit. So 6 proton, 6 unit, and 6 neutron also 6 unit. So mass number of this carbon atom is 12 unit. The mass of carbon is 12 joule. Similarly, the mass of aluminium. In case of aluminium, it has number of proton 13 and number of neutron is 14. Since in its nucleus 13 protons are there and 14 neutrons are there, so its mass of one atom of aluminium becomes 13 plus 14, that is 27. Mass of aluminium atom is 13 plus 14 is equal to 27 units. In this way, we can find the mass of any atom after getting the number of proton and number of neutron there. Here, how to represent the atomic number and mass number for any atom? Like for carbon. Carbon has atomic number 6 and mass it is 12. Aluminium, atomic number 13 and mass is 27. In this way, we write the atomic number in the left side below the symbol, and the mass number above its symbol, but in left side. Next, come to isotopes. Next come to isotopes. In nature, a number of atoms of some elements have been identified which have the same atomic number but different mass number. Like carbon. Here, in case of carbon, atomic number is 6 and mass number is 12. Generally, we observe that the carbon has mass 12 because 6 protons and 6 neutrons are there. Maximum of carbon atoms has this type of proton 6 and neutron 6, that becomes 12. But some cases or sometimes we get that carbon as atomic number 6, but the mass number 8. Mass number 8, that is number of proton is 6, but number of mass number is 14. It is 8. Atomic number 6, mass number 14. 6 proton and 8 neutrons are there. This carbon, atomic number 6, mass number 12, atomic number 6, mass number 14. Two different atoms are there having same atomic number but different mass number. Such type of atoms are called isotopes. So we can observe in case of hydrogen also, like atomic number of hydrogen is 1 because they are present only one proton in its nucleus. Atomic number is 1, but sometimes we observe maximum number of carbon in this hydrogen atom has 1 proton and no neutron. Only the nucleus of the hydrogen contains proton, only 1 proton is there without any neutron. But in some of the hydrogen atoms represent 1 proton and 1 neutron. Here the mass is 1 plus 0, proton plus neutron 1 plus 0, that is 1. Here atomic number is 1 but mass is 1 plus 1, that is 2. Number of proton is 1, number of neutron is 2. Here the mass is 3. Generally we get this type of hydrogen atoms, but sometimes we get 1s2 or 1s3. This hydrogen atom is called protium. This one is called deuterium, and this one is called tritium. Protium, deuterium, tritium. In all these atoms, they are the atoms of same element, hydrogen element, having same atomic number but different mass numbers. Same atomic number but different mass number. Such type of atoms are called isotopes. Next, we can give one other example also, that is chlorine. All of you know chlorine has the atomic number 17. That means number of proton is 17. Means this chlorine atom contains 17 proton in its nucleus. And some of the chlorine atoms contains number of neutron as 18. Number of neutrons 18 and some as 20. Here mass of this atomic number is 70 in both the chlorine atoms. Because if number of proton changes, then the element will change. Since it is chlorine, the number of protons remains same. Both have atomic number 70, but here the mass is 35. 17 plus 18, proton plus neutron, that is 35. Here the mass is 17 plus 20, that is 37. 17 chlorine 35 and 17 chlorine 37. That is the atomic number and mass number. The chlorine with mass 35, chlorine with mass 37. Generally, we get this type of chlorine like 75% in the nature they are present. Chlorine with mass 35, but 25% present there. Chlorine having mass 37. These are the isotopes of chlorine. Then also, when we find the mass of this chlorine, we use a fractional mass, that is 35.5. Then also we use mass of chlorine, that is 35.5 joule. Here it is the fractional mass 35.5 joule fractional mass we use for this chlorine. Where the mass of the chlorine is considered as the fractional mass, whereas in other cases some other elements are also there like hydrogen, carbon are there. In that case we use a single mass, a whole number. But in case of chlorine we use 35, the mass 35.5. How the mass of chlorine becomes 35.5? Let's discuss it. Here 75% of this 35 chlorine are present, that is mass 35 chlorine present around 75% and 37 mass present about 25%. It becomes 35 into 75 by 100 plus 37 into 25 by 100. Now it becomes 35 into 75 plus 37 into 25 whole by 100. This becomes 35 into 75 is 2625 plus 37 into 25 is 925 by 100. This becomes by 100 is 35. In this way we calculate the mass of the chlorine. Next, application of the isotopes. Since the chemical properties of all the isotopes of an element are the same, because they have same number of protons, same number of electrons. Due to same number of electrons, they will show similar electronic configuration. That's why their chemical properties will be similar. Some isotopes have special properties which find them useful in various fields. Like an isotopes of uranium is used as a fuel in nuclear reactor, from where we get nuclear energy and it will be converted into other forms like hydrogen. It can be used to heat the water that makes steam to generate the turbine and get electricity. Next, the isotopes of cobalt is used in the treatment of cancer also. Next, then isotopes of iodine, it is used in the treatment of goiter and so on. In this way we can use the isotopes of the element. Next come to isobars. Like in case of calcium and argon, calcium, argon. Here the atomic number of calcium is 20 and that of argon is 18. But the mass number of calcium is 40 and that of argon is also 40. Because it has proton 20 and neutron 20. That's why the mass is 40. Here number of proton is 18 and that of neutron is 22. That's why the mass is 40. Both the elements have different atomic number, 20 and 18, different atomic number, but their mass numbers are same. Such type of elements are called isobars. So atoms of different elements with different atomic numbers which have same mass number are known as isobars. Okay, this much is present in this chapter. Okay, thank you.